talking about a woman who dedicated her life to the passage of the 19th Amendment of the women's suffrage right. She dedicated her life to doing many different acts in order to prove to people that men and women are to be created equal. She was raised and born as a Quaker, and that was her religion, and that influenced her beliefs as far as women's suffrage goes, because women were not treated like men were back then. She became the chair of the National American Women's Suffrage Association, and then about a year later, she decided to branch off onto her own association, and she went and created the National Women's Party in 1917. She participated in many numerous hunger strikes, and those hunger strikes were created after she was imprisoned in a Virginia prison. There she was tortured for her hunger strikes, and the police officials tried to deem her as insane so that they could get her out of the prisons and so that she wouldn't influence all the other prisoners. Well, people began feeling sorry for her and saw what the prisoners were going through, and they decided to support her being taken out of the institution, and that took her one step closer to the women's suffrage movement. She also attempted to pass the Equal Rights Amendment of 1970, which was not passed because there were not enough votes. The peace movement of World War II was another act that she tried to pass, stating that if men would have allowed women to participate in whether or not the war was to go on or not, then the World War II war would have been not come about because of women saying that World War II should not have been in effect. In 1912, Alice and two of her other friends made a demonstration in the Pennsylvania Avenue at President Wilson's inauguration with many other different women, stating that all women should be created equal, and that created a verbal as well as a physical conflict with the men because they did not agree with that, and so it created a very large uproar, and it caused them to show more interest to the public of what was going on. Well, President Wilson got wind of this, and he decided to support these acts, and he began supporting the women's suffrage movement, and he called it a war measure. And on August 26th, he passed the amendment and got many different votes, and women were created equal, and they had the right to vote, and they had the right to better prisons and better lifestyles, and men weren't dominant over the women. And after this all passed, she was created the World Women's Party, and it was headquartered in Geneva, Switzerland, and so she traveled all around the world trying to get international women's suffrage going. And she also led a coalition that was successful. In addition, a sexual discrimination clause to Title V11 of the 1964 Civil Rights Act. So she helped to make all of these things possible in order for women to be considered equal and free. And the reason why I chose Alice Paul as my person for my speech is because I believe that without her acts, we would not be free women, we would be dominated by men, and we would not have the choice to vote and the choice to be free. And I believe that that was very important. And I believe that we also tend to forget about how many tears and the sweat and the work which was put into women's suffrage and to women being free. And it's just a good reminder to all of us that women are free because of people like Alice Paul, who put all of their efforts into making us a free nation and an equal